So what is up, everybody? It is Rodak with Rodak Survival, and we are back with the Anaheim 2 race recap. Now, we had a bunch of good racing tonight. We had a bunch of things go down, so let's go ahead, break it down. Now, over here, guys, I do not cover the heat races unless something crazy happens, like how Nichols broke his arms or something of that nature happens. So we will go ahead, talk about the 250 main event and the 450 main event, and without further ado, let's just jump into this 250 main event. So out early, it was Moseman coming out with the whole shot, but Craig was not far behind back there in third place. Craig would eventually move himself up into second place, and that is pretty much how they would run until about 3 to 4 minutes left in that main event. Craig really didn't look like he was riding over his head to catch Moseman. They had a long whoop section tonight, and we know Craig is without a doubt the fastest rider in the whoop section. He would lose a little bit of time throughout the rest of the racetrack, but then he would catch right back up to Moseman. But then about halfway through, I noticed that Christian was really able to close the gap up to Moseman at really any point on the track that he wanted to. He was really looking for that spot to open up. It looked like he was maybe waiting for Moseman to make a mistake, but like I said, with about 3 or 4 minutes left to go in the race, Christian would make his move and take over that lead. Before we get to how the race ended, though, I really want to break it down and let's talk about Hunter Lawrence for a little bit, but more specifically, let's talk about what could possibly be wrong with Hunter Lawrence. Tonight, he finally had a decent start. He started at about 6th place. I really thought this was his best start of the season. He was right up there with the guys. I thought he'd be able to get up to at least 3rd or 4th within a couple of minutes, but he really just kind of stuck back there. In like true Hunter Lawrence fashion, he came alive with like 5 to 6 minutes left to go in the race. So I'm wondering, and I want to hear your guys' opinions on this, is do you think it's something that he's not gelling with on the bike? Is he not feeling good this year? Is he dealing with something that we don't know about? I don't understand it, and maybe it's because I'm not a professional motocross racer. I don't know what these guys deal with, but it seems like he's maybe the fastest rider on the track in the last 5 minutes of the race, but in the first 10 minutes of the race, he just, and Ricky Carmichael also mentioned that it seems like Lawrence seems to ride to the level of his competition. So wherever if he's by himself and he's trying to catch somebody, he will catch them, but once he catches them, he's kind of just stuck there behind him. He can't ever really get by him. So maybe this is all a mental thing that he just needs to get past. I don't know what's going on with him. He has so much more potential and capabilities than what he has shown this year. He is yet to get a win. So at what point do we ask, what's up with Hunter Lawrence and why can't he break through and get his first win of the season? Maybe that's a longer question and answer for a video on another day, but getting back to this race, it really tightened up at the end between Vince Friese, Hunter Lawrence, and Joe Shimoda. Now with 2 laps to go, Vince Friese would make a mistake in the whoop section. Lawrence would get by, but as Friese was getting up, Joe Shimoda would come through with what looked like a right hook from Mike Tyson, with his front tire just absolutely decking Friese in the side of the head. Friese would run off. Shimoda would end up going down just a few whoops later, not able to control it after hitting Friese in the head. Friese looked extremely wobbly. They gave a little bit of an update after. They said he had to get some stitches in his tongue because he bit his tongue, but otherwise he was good. But I highly doubt he didn't walk away with a concussion there, because he couldn't even stand up on his own 2 feet without somebody kind of holding on to him. So it really sucks to see that from Friese, because he really was riding good tonight. And I'm not a huge Vince Friese fan. I don't know how many people actually are, just being honest with you guys. But you always want to see people do good, and you don't want to ever see anybody get hurt. So hopefully there's no lingering concussions or anything there, and he was able to get off the track under his own power and just get those stitches in his tongue, and hopefully that's just the extent of it. Now going back to that race lead, Craig would maintain the lead for the rest of the race. Moseman did hang with him for about another minute or two and really stuck with him, and I really started to think, okay, Christian's finally going to have somebody to rival him, and he's going to push him all the way to the end. But with a minute to go and down to those 2 laps to go, Christian really pulled it out to about a 3 or 4 second lead and came through with his 3rd win of the year. And I'll keep saying what I said in my predictions. Unless Craig goes down or has a season-ending injury, I don't see anybody taking this away from Craig. He has the speed. He has the racecraft. He has the knowledge. He's a veteran of the class. So I do think Craig is coming home with this one this year. So that'll be it for your 250 main. Your top 5 would be Jalik Swoll, who had a good ride tonight, coming back from that injury in round 1, who's coming out 5th tonight. Nate Thrasher, I mentioned him in my prediction videos. I thought he would have a 5th place tonight. He ended up besting that and coming through in a 4th. He did look very good tonight. Then you had Hunter Lawrence in 3rd. We spoke about his troubles. Michael Moseman in second, and Christian Craig coming out with the win. They did have a good battle. It was nice to see somebody not run away with it this week and someone actually battle Craig just a little bit. So overall, just a great 250 main. Again, Vince Freeze, hope he gets the feeling better. And with that being said, let's hop into these 450 results. So unlike the 250 class, the 450 class, those first 10 minutes were absolutely wild tonight. So to start off the race, you had Ken Roczen coming out with the whole shot, and as soon as I saw after that first lap that he was already a second or so ahead, I was like, oh boy, we are in for one of those Ken Roczen moments where it looks like he comes out of nowhere and just blows everybody out of the water. But to my surprise, Malcolm Stewart was actually running pretty well as well. It was 2 or 3 minutes into the main, Malcolm actually caught back up to Roczen, as did Anderson and Tomac, and it looked like we were going to have a pretty good race on our hands. Anderson would then move himself by Malcolm Stewart and set his sights on Ken Roczen. And just a few laps later, I want to hear what your guys' opinion is on this as well. I will share mine. Roczen ends up just absolutely cleaning out Ken Roczen, but I do not think it was intentional. When they showed that reverse angle of them actually going into the sand section, those two lines converged. Like Ricky Carmichael said, you're not looking to the side of you, so it does look like Anderson has the lead coming out of that corner, and he's just gonna cut Kenny off. But man, he absolutely obliterated Kenny in that corner. I don't suspect any points docking or anything will come of that, because I genuinely do believe it was just a matter of lines coming together. I don't believe Anderson was out there for blood, or he was just trying to destroy Kenny like he did, and he even seemed remorseful in the podium speech. But with Kenny going down, that put Anderson in the lead, and that put Tomac in second place and Chase Sexton in third. And at this point, I didn't know what to expect. Obviously, if you guys watch my videos and the predictions, I picked Eli to win tonight, I picked Sexton for second, and I picked Anderson for third. But I also picked Eli to win because I am an actual Eli Tomac fan. So I do have a little bit more adrenaline and my heart's pumping of like, okay, this is Eli's time, but I'm also a little bit worried. But until Anderson's bike malfunctioned just a week prior, he got past Tomac and just easily pulled away. So I was like, is this going to be the point where Anderson gets a lead and Tomac isn't able to reel him down? But I also had a little bit of confidence today as well, because like I said in my prediction video, watching the Deegan's video this week and just seeing how Tomac was on the bike, it looked like he was finally comfortable on that bike. Even tonight in his heat race and everything, he just looked more loose. He didn't look so robotic, and I thought tonight was going to be the night that Eli was going to get that first win. So just a few laps after Anderson took that lead, Anderson goes for a triple in a really technical section, hits it, over jumps it just a little bit, almost goes completely off the track, leaving the door open for Eli to come through and make his pass for the lead. Now as the top three would go, those boys would stay in the positions they were all night. Anderson held Tomac within about 2 or 3 seconds for the entire race. Sexton stayed back about 5 or 6 seconds the entire race. There really wasn't an accordion effect where guys were catching guys and then they would fall off just a little bit and then catch them back up again. It really just kind of stayed between those top three, about 2-3 seconds in between them. But a few other things that I wanted to mention going on in the main event. Malcolm Stewart looked very impressive tonight, as did Dylan Ferrandis. He did last week as well, putting that Yamaha on the podium. So good rides tonight from Malcolm Stewart and Dylan Ferrandis, but people that did not have good rides tonight: Cooper Webb, Justin Barcia, Ken Roczen. Justin Barcia would come through in 7th tonight. We really didn't see much of him other than the little covers they showed him battling with Cooper before Cooper would put it down while he was running in 7th and drop him back to 8th right before the whoop section. Cooper would come through in 8th. And Ken Roczen, valiant effort after being on the ground, coming back to 13th. But just again, like I spoke about in my predictions, I had Cooper coming in 5th because I didn't want to disrespect him that much by not giving him a top 5, but I said something looks completely off. I don't know if it's the bike. It really appears like it's the bike to me. I don't think it's a fitness issue. I don't know if it's an underlying illness issue from that cold he had 2 weeks ago, but it just does not look like he is comfortable on that bike. I don't know what is going on with him, but he just does not look like the Cooper Webb of old. Am I counting him out for this season? No, I am not, because we have seen him have horrible results for the first 4 or 5 rounds and then somehow still come out and win the championship or just start winning races out of nowhere once they find that bike setting that he likes. But right now it is not looking good for Cooper. And Barcia as well, I just don't know if it's a product of him just not getting good starts. They really didn't talk or show much of him tonight, but Barcia coming through in 7th. So coming to the finish, I will give you guys the top 5. You had Malcolm Stewart in 5th place, an excellent ride by him. I believe he was also 5th last week, so tying that best for the season. He put together 2 top 5s. That is great to see from Malcolm. Dylan Ferrandis going from a podium on 3rd last week to a 4th this week. He's also looking like he's finding his speed, finding his rhythm, finding some of that consistency. Chase Sexton back there in third. It just didn't look like he was comfortable or gelling with the track tonight, but still overall a very good top 3 result. He didn't put it on the ground, so it's good to see him staying consistent and putting it up there on the third step of the box. Anderson in second looked like he just didn't have that extra push tonight, or maybe it was just Eli having just a little bit of extra speed. And then your winner, ET3, holding on to that red plate, actually even extending it by a few points. So I'm even more pumped to see it than I am any other rider, just because I am an Eli Tomac fan. I really felt like he was going to have it tonight. And it is crazy that for the 4th time ever, I believe they said tonight, we have had 4 different winners in the 4 first rounds. So we are in for a great season. Just wanted to give you guys a points rundown. You have Eli Tomac maintaining that red plate at 85 points. Chase Sexton 6 points back in second place. Jason Anderson 8 points back in third place. Cooper Webb losing a ton of points. He is 12 back in fourth place. Justin Barsha 13 back in fifth place. Malcolm Stewart 15 back in sixth place, and Dylan Ferrandis 21 back in seventh place. Marvin Muscan 21 back in eighth place. Ken Roxon, it is such a bummer to see him down in ninth place in the points, 23 points back. And Aaron Plessinger, who went out earlier in the night, he had some sort of crash in the sand section. They didn't show a replay. He is 30 points back in 10th place. So still, I am super pumped to see how this season will unfold. Does this mean that Eli now gets on a track to where he just goes off and starts winning? We know Eli is capable of winning 4, 5, 6 races in a row. So does that mean he's comfortable on that Yamaha and everybody else has to watch out? Does Anderson have some more fight in him next week and stick his nose back in there and get a win? Does Chase Sexton come out and get a win? Heck, Kenny's all the way back in ninth place in the points, but does he come back and get a win? Does Cooper Webb figure out the bike, and does he come out and get his first win? There's so much going on this season. I just can't wait for Phoenix, and I wish it was Saturday already. So guys, if you liked the video, go ahead and smash that like button. If you're ready for more videos, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the later video. Peace.